G'day, my name is Shay with Box Collector, and today I will be teaching you how to play the 2 to 4 player game, Amrtaka, designed by Mrtaka and published by Undertree Games, who provided me with this copy. Keep in mind this is a demo copy and all rules and components are subject to change. In Amrtaka, players play as rulers who are in search of Amrtaka, the nectar of eternal life, hidden deep inside a celestial spiral of 30 floating islands. Players use celestial warriors, powerful armies, and magical portals to occupy and conquer lands in pursuit of this elixir. To set up the game, each player chooses a player board of their chosen color. So for me, it's orange, and 6 banners of your chosen color. So for me, it's yellow, and they go up top here. You'll also get a double-sided player aid, an elixir counter board, 6 red Mavirs, 6 gray scouts, 2 portals, 1 bonus army token, 4 green melee weapon tokens of the 4 different types, and 4 blue ranged weapon tokens of each type. You'll place rulers down here at the bottom. So if I was playing a 2-player game, they'd go down here. Place the flower in the middle of the board and all elixir tokens inside of it. Shuffle the 10 god followers and place them randomly face down on the 10 inner islands, the numbered spaces close to the center of the board. Shuffle all the warrior cards and deal 6 cards face down to each player. Place the remaining stack face down next to the board. This is the draw pile for warrior cards. Players may look at the cards they are dealt, and this is private information. Place the extra backup armies near the play area. The main board consists of 10 mainlands, and each mainland has 3 corresponding islands: the outer island, middle island, and inner island. Each mainland also consists of a space to place a banner as well as a ruler. Amrtaka is played over 3 phases: the inner ring, middle ring, and outer ring phase in that order. The inner ring phase consists of 10 player turns. After determining the starting player randomly, that player will take the first player turn, and play proceeds in clockwise order from there. During this phase, after each player's main action, determine the lowest numbered inner island that contains a god follower. So in this case, the lowest numbered island with a god follower would be 1, and you'll move this god follower from the inner island to the corresponding middle island, face up. And as subsequent players complete their main action, the next god follower is moved from the inner island to the middle island, face up, and that continues. This phase ends when the god follower on the inner island 10 is moved to the middle, face up. At this point, all of the tokens should be in their middle islands. The next phase of the game is the middle ring phase. This phase starts with the next player clockwise to the player whose turn ended the previous phase, and this phase also consists of 10 turns similar to the previous phase. During this phase, after each player's main action, determine the lowest numbered middle island that contains a god follower, and move this god follower from the middle island to the corresponding outer island, still face up. And this phase ends when the god follower on middle island 10 is moved to outer island 10 face up. The outer ring phase starts when the next player clockwise to the player whose turn ended the previous phase, and also consists of 10 turns, similar to the previous phases. During this phase, after each player's main action, determine the lowest numbered outer island that contains a god follower and move this god follower from the outer island to the corresponding inner island face down. And this phase ends when the god follower on outer island 10 is moved to inner island 10 face down. A player's turn consists of 3 steps: deploy warrior, main action, and move the god follower. Each step must be played in order and must be completely resolved before moving to the next step. To deploy a warrior, you must choose a warrior card from your hand of 6 cards and play it face up beside your player board. This card will be used later in calculating movement points and defending the mainland. Warrior strength, the weapon icon, the weapon, and the special movement might be different on various warrior cards. However, basic movement and portal ability icons are exactly the same on all warrior cards. The warrior card deck consists of 8 different weapons split into 2 weapon types, melee and ranged. And these weapons correspond to the tokens on your player board. And each weapon also corresponds to a different special movement, which are explained in detail in the rulebook and also shown on your player aid. After deploying a warrior, the next step is your main action. There are 4 possible main actions that are available in this step, and you must perform exactly one of these actions. And if there's an action that you're not able to perform, you must choose another action. The 4 possible actions are Occupy, Reinforce, Conquer, and Rest. The Occupy action allows players to occupy an empty mainland, and a mainland is considered empty if there is no banner next to it. If no mainland is empty, you can't perform this action. You may choose to recruit up to 3 armies. For each army you wish to recruit, remove either a Mahavir or a scout team from your player board and place it beside your player board. These will be used later in calculating movement points and defending the mainland. Mahavir have 2 strength, and scouts have 1 strength. And obviously, if you want to recruit armies but you don't have any left, then you can't recruit them. At the start of performing this action, if you have exactly 0 armies, you may discard your bonus army token to the army discard area and add armies from the army discard area to your player board in any combination that adds up to 6 strength. If there are not enough armies in the defeated army discard area, you may take from the backup armies. After choosing whether or not to recruit armies, you'll next calculate your movement points. You'll add the warrior strength of the warrior card you played and the combined strength of the armies that were recruited, and your result value is the movement points available for your basic movement. So in my case, 5 plus 3, I have 8 movement. The bottom middle icon of the warrior card denotes the icon for basic movement, and as I said earlier, all cards have the same basic movement ability. However, if you're planning to use the special movement ability to move in the next step, your destination may be an outer island of an occupied mainland, a mainland with a banner next to it. You must move your ruler either in clockwise or anti-clockwise direction, a number of steps exactly equal to the movement points calculated in your movement point step. And with each step, the ruler moves to the next outer island. If your ruler is on the ruler starting space, the movement starts from mainland 1. And if your movement points is 10 or greater, continue movement in the same direction until a destination is reached. If you're not planning to use special movement, your destination must be an outer island of an empty mainland. So one of these spaces without a banner. So starting from 1, I had 8 movement, so I'll move my ruler here to number 8. After performing basic movement, you can additionally perform a special movement or a portal ability. To better understand special movement, the bottom red dot is the reference for your current position as your ruler, and you may move to any destination as the arrows on the icon direct. You'll notice here that there are 10 dots, so each dot corresponds to one of the outer islands. So if I were to perform this special movement after moving 8, and if this dot at the bottom of the card represents my position, then it says I can go either 3 this way or 3 this way. And if either of these were occupied, I can still use this special movement to move there. With portal abilities, you can choose to build a portal. You'll place one of your portals, if available, on an outer island of your ruler's current location or any outer island that you control. And you're considered to control an outer island if you control its mainland. And there will only ever be 1 portal on any outer island at a time. As part of the portal ability, instead of placing a portal, you can move a portal. So you can choose an existing portal on an outer island you control and move it to the outer island of your ruler's current location or any outer island that you control. And your last option for the portal ability is teleport. You can choose up to 2 armies in any combination of red and gray and move them from any single outer island you control and has a portal to an outer island of your ruler's current location or any single outer island that you control. After moving and choosing whether or not to take an additional ability, you must place your ruler on the ruler space next to the mainland corresponding to your ruler's location. Place one of your banners from your player board on the banner space next to the mainland corresponding to your ruler's position. Place the warrior card played earlier on the mainland corresponding to your ruler's location. And place the armies recruited earlier, if any, on the outer island corresponding to your ruler's current position. While performing occupy, reinforce, or conquer main actions, it is possible that Mainland Immortality is achieved during the action. Mainland Immortality is achieved when your mainland strength of any mainland you control is 15 or higher. So in this instance, I have 5 from the card and 3 from armies. So as of right now, I'm at 8. When you achieve Mainland Immortality, you cannot gain any more elixir in this turn, and you'll empty all immortal mainlands by first moving your ruler to the ruler space of any mainland you control or to the ruler starting space. Retrieve your banner back to your player board. Retrieve all armies on the corresponding outer island back to your player board, and discard the warrior card to the warrior card discard pile. If after the occupy action you didn't achieve Mainland Immortality, you'll gain 1 elixir, which you can denote using your marker on your elixir counter board. And then finally, draw the top warrior card from the warrior card draw pile to replenish your hand to 6 warrior cards. And if the draw pile ever runs out, shuffle the discard pile and create a new draw deck of warrior cards. Everything I just explained was one of the 4 possible actions, the occupy action. As another action, you can instead reinforce. So let's say it's a new turn. I did all of this last turn. It's my turn again, and I want to do the reinforce action. And you'll always start your turn by deploying a warrior. So let's say this is the new warrior that I'm going to deploy. I'll set this next to my player board, and then to reinforce, I may choose to recruit exactly 1 army to a mainland that I am already occupying. So I'll add this army and I'll calculate my movement points. So using my new card, I have 4 plus 5, meaning I would go around the board 9 times over here. I can then choose to use the additional ability, either special movement or portal. However, if it was 10 or I move on to a space that I already occupied, then the previous card would get discarded and my new card would be placed in my mainland. And after resolving the reinforce action, I will once again draw a warrior card. Let's say that green instead occupies this mainland. You can perform the conquer action, which will allow you to capture a mainland that is controlled by another player. But you may only perform this action if you meet the criteria. In the deploy warrior step, the warrior card you played must match the weapon type of the defending warrior. And your player board must have a weapon token matching the weapon on the warrior card played. The strength that you are attacking with, so your warrior strength, the armies that you recruited, and armies that you may teleport into the mainland must be higher than the total of the current mainland strength and the maximum army strength that can be teleported by the opponent into the mainland. As a reminder, you can teleport in 2 armies, and if green had 2 red armies to teleport in, that would bring their total up to 13. So I'd have to have more than 13 in order to conquer this mainland. If you meet those criteria, then you'll follow the same steps as the other actions. So you'll recruit armies, calculate your movement points, perform basic movement, and then with this being the conquer action, if you're not planning to use a special movement ability, your destination must be an outer island of a mainland that any opponent controls. To resolve the conquer action, remove portal and weapon tokens, if any, of your opponent and put them back in the box. They are permanently destroyed. Calculate the difference between attacking strength and defending strength. The defender removes armies whose strength matches this difference from the outer island to their defeated army placeholder. The defender can select which armies to move. If it is impossible to match the strength difference with existing armies, only the defender may take change from the backup armies. All remaining armies on the outer island are returned to the defender player board. The opponent moves their ruler, if on that mainland, to the ruler starting space or ruler space of any mainland they control. The opponent takes their banner and puts it back on their board. Place the warrior card played earlier on the mainland corresponding to your ruler's current position after discarding the existing card on the mainland into the discard pile. Place the weapon token from your player board on the outer island, and place any recruited armies in the outer island, and place your banner. Once again, if you achieved immortality, you get 15 elixir. However, if you don't, you gain 5 elixir. And you will place the elixir token on your elixir counter board, and then you'll draw a warrior card. The last action a player can take is the rest action, which allows a player to discard a warrior card from their hand and draw a new one without performing any other main action. And you'll also gain 1 elixir, moving the marker on your elixir counter board 1 step forward. After deploying a warrior and performing your main action, the last thing you'll do on your turn is move the God Follower, which I explained earlier. So depending on which phase of the game you're at, the follower will either move from the inner to the middle to the outer, or the outer back to the inner. God Followers have ongoing benefits. When a God Follower is on an outer island face up, the player controlling it receives either an ongoing benefit or an immediate benefit. This is the Protector God Follower. So as long as this God Follower is present on a player's controlled outer island, that player's armies are not discarded when conquered. Instead, the player can retrieve them to their player board. This one is the Portal God Follower. So if this is present in an outer island you control, that player can use this God Follower as a portal, and all the rules of portals apply in a similar way, except the Portal God Follower cannot be moved or destroyed. These God Followers are immediate benefits. Players gain 2 elixir from this one if they control an outer island with this God Follower, or 3 elixir, just depending on which God Follower is present in the outer island. And then there's this God Follower, which gives an immediate benefit of 5 elixir. The end of the game is triggered in one of 2 ways. Either the end of phase 3, meaning after 30 actions have been taken, or any player accumulates 60 elixir. The instant any player accumulates 60 elixir, they win the game. If the game ends after 30 actions, you'll calculate each player's elixir. So you'll add the values on your elixir tokens and the elixir counter on each player's elixir board. The player with the most elixir wins the game. In case of a tie, the player with the most army strength on an outer island they control wins. If still tied, the player with the most mainlands controlled wins. And if still tied, players share the victory. And that is how you play Amrtaka. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to check out my other content. Thanks.